Welcome to the PT3 video show. Now, you don't want to miss this episode because in this episode, we're going to discuss the customer journey. That is the path from when they make their first click on your ad to when they make their purchase and beyond. And this episode was inspired by a podcast I listened to from the guys over at Digital Marketing. And if you haven't, go check out their Perpetual Traffic Podcast. You'll actually notice a link to the episode below this blog. But in this episode, they had a guest that manages over $1 billion worth of Facebook ad spend. And in his data, he shows that the average customer journey, that is the path from when they clicked on your initial ad to when they make a purchase, is 43 days. Now, this is really important knowledge because if you're thinking that it's the same as it was before where you just placed an ad in the newspaper or an ad on the radio or an ad in your yellow pages that you're going to get people to call you and make a purchase, then you're missing the boat. Because with the internet and how digital marketing works is that it's so much easier for them to be able to click on something, make note of it, and then forget about it by clicking off somewhere else, right? So what this means to you is that you can't just consider the very first click. You need to think about how you're going to retarget or how you're going to engage. Because in this same podcast, they discuss that it takes an average of 5 to 7 touch points to be able to move them through your cycle. So how are you going to segment those customers so that you know that you're sending the right message to the right person at the right time? Are you going to use something like a quiz where your customers can engage and be able to self-segment, be able to tell you exactly what messages that they want to hear? Are you going to be able to incorporate an email newsletter, an email campaign that allows them to click and get the automatic information that they need in order to be able to make that decision that they need to make? Also, in this same podcast episode, they discussed that in their experience, 19 out of every 20 of their Facebook campaigns fail. Right? So that also means that you can't just put one Facebook ad and rely on it. You have to make sure that you're constantly testing, constantly refining the message, seeing what triggers are making those customers respond to that ad. And just because it works in 1 month doesn't mean that it's going to be working the next month or the month after that. You need to be able to constantly keep tracking. Now, this is a lot of work if you're worrying about your business, but it's also really what you need to be able to do in order to make sure that you're acquiring the customers. Now, in other articles that I read this week, and you'll notice some of the information below, they also discussed that if you increased your customer retention by just 5%, you can increase your profits from 25 to 90%, right? So this is why remarketing and working on your email platform and your recommunication is very valuable to you, because if you can increase your profits by 25 to 90% through increased customer retention, then it really goes to show you where are the acres of diamonds in your business. Can you repurpose the content that you're creating in order to make that initial sale into making additional sales to your current customers? Right, so that's it for this week. All the information on the articles that I read is below. And you know what? If you picked out something different from these articles or from this podcast, please leave the information below. I would love to hear your story.